All right, now we're going to talk about symmetry. So, why is symmetry with transformations? Well, a lot of figures, a lot of nice logos are made through symmetry. You can probably see several of these have a nice line of symmetry. The Volkswagen logo has a nice line of symmetry down the middle. So does the Mazda logo and the Honda logo. Audi even has one. This Yamaha one does. Toyota has a nice one down the middle. But there's even symmetry in these other logos. We often think of symmetry as a reflection or mirror symmetry. Do you hear how we're using transformation language? We define symmetry by saying something has symmetry if a transformation maps the image onto itself. So that's symmetry, is there's a transformation that maps the image onto itself. We see a lot of reflection symmetry, where if I reflect down some line, the figure will reflect onto itself. We'll often have multiple lines of symmetry. For example, this Yamaha logo has 3 lines of symmetry. As does the Mercedes-Benz logo. Now, there's other types of symmetry, just as reflections are not the only types of transformations. So let's look at this Yamaha logo. This Yamaha logo not only has mirror symmetry, it has rotational symmetry. Because notice if I rotate it a certain amount, it lands on itself. You can't tell the difference. If I rotate it around its center, it lands on itself again. Now, since I can do that 3 times before getting back to the top, we say this has threefold rotational symmetry. Now, let's look at the Hyundai logo. That one, I have to turn it 180 degrees in order to get it to land on itself. And then I can turn it again to get back to itself. Since it takes I can do 2 rotations before I get back to start. We say this has twofold rotational symmetry. Do you see any others that have rotational symmetry? The Audi one does. The Mercedes has threefold rotational symmetry. The Suzuki one has twofold rotational symmetry because I can spin the S and it lands on itself. So we say this has twofold rotational symmetry. So we'll also often identify the angle we need to get that type of symmetry. And so since it's twofold, we also will say it takes 180 degrees because 360 divided by 2 is 180. Any guess what the angle is for threefold? It's 120. So these figures can have multiple types of symmetry. Yamaha has 3 lines of symmetry as well as threefold rotational symmetry. Hyundai only has twofold rotational symmetry. And Suzuki only has twofold 180 degree symmetry. Now, you may be wondering, what about translations? How do we see translational symmetry? I'll show you that on this next slide. This is one way we see it. We see it by having the same figure repeated over and over in some sort of linear pattern. So notice I can draw a line on this figure where the same image is getting repeated over and over again. And there's more than one line it goes. It's also translated this way. So this has different forms of translational symmetry. And I'm going to show you how we can create this type of symmetry. The way this is done is by taking a figure and translating it over and over. So here's me creating translational symmetry. I'm taking the same figure and I'm going to translate it in multiple ways and make sure everything lines up. And this gives us translational symmetry. This is where we get a lot of art. This is called tessellations. Tessellations are translational symmetry.